I'm really curious what you guys think. And I was asked over the weekend by a very passionate Michigan fan, does the Michigan cheating scandal matter? And I am here to tell you it matters. So many people, and obviously I find it repugnant and morally bankrupt that Michigan fans still want to support Jim Harbaugh. I think it is one of the things that I will never understand. And I was at an event this weekend talking to somebody who claims to give tens of thousands of dollars to Michigan a year, is a Michigan law grad, like the whole 9 yards. And it is amazing to me that this person had no idea what the NCAA is accusing Jim Harbaugh of. No idea that the NCAA, in its findings, said Jim Harbaugh had little, if any, emphasis on following the rules, ran a program that was largely dismissive of rule compliance. And this is somebody that is a big-time attorney who had no idea that Jim Harbaugh was like, nah, screw it. We won't follow the rules. And I'm wondering how many Michigan fans are in that same boat, because I have a very hard time understanding and reconciling how you can support a scumbag like Jim Harbaugh when at every single turn, Jim Harbaugh did everything he could do to damage Michigan football. And yet it just seems like everybody who's affiliated with Michigan wants to call him a hero, a national champion. Do you understand that what I've been telling you now for over a year rang true on Friday when these punishments were announced? Forget the fact that they crippled you financially and took what most people, I'm conservatively saying it's going to be $35 million. But most people in the know believe that Michigan's financial penalty will be upwards of $50 million. And all the jackwagon Michigan fans in our comment section, oh, we can write a check for that, no problem. Then why are you appealing? Why are you appealing? If Michigan got off so light, as all the Michigan fans will tell you, oh, this wasn't a punishment, slap on the wrist. Then why is Michigan threatening to sue and is appealing? And I mean, they got off with no punishment. It was a slap on the wrist. Oh, because $50 million matters. That's why. Because they hit you in the only place that they said they were willing to. Because let's not forget, the NCAA and the Committee on Enforcement found legitimate grounds for a multi-year postseason ban for Michigan football, and did not do that because of their long-standing rule that you do not punish current players for past players' transgressions. That's the only reason you didn't get a multi-year ban, which I think is a bunch of BS in my opinion. But this idea that Michigan fans want to tell you, oh, we got off light, it was a slap on the wrist, then explain to me why the all-knowing powers that be are threatening lawsuits again and appealing the penalties. If it doesn't matter and it was a nothing burger, Jake, why are we suing and appealing?
Yeah, I mean, if you're innocent, why are you celebrating that you got off easy, right? I mean, because Michigan fan has been telling us since the day these accusations came out that they were innocent and Jim would never do that. And, then it evolved into Connor Stallions is a lone wolf and it was just cheeseburgers. And now it's devolved into, oh, it's no big deal. It's 20 million. It's 30 million. It's 40 million. Call us Oprah. It's 50 million for everybody. Right. I mean, that's what Michigan fan has done. And I've seen all the comments. I've seen all the rhetorassery out of Michigan fan. And you can sit here and try to spin it as you put your hand in the cookie jar and got away with it. And I'm just telling you, bro, $50 million to anybody is a lot of money, dude. $50 million isn't just like walking around money. Like, I don't care who you are.
I love that Michigan fans over the weekend in our comments section were like, we have hundreds of billions of dollars. You don't. There is no evidence. And this has been a long-standing thing that they have hundreds of billions of dollars. You don't. You don't. Michigan, right? You understand that Michigan is telling its boosters and its academia that they're on a shoestring budget because of the elimination of the Department of Education and federal funding. And you understand that Michigan is telling its boosters and its academia that they need a major fundraising effort to sustain themselves into the next decade. So this idea that Michigan has, I think one guy literally said, hundreds of billions of dollars waiting to pay these off. Why are you appealing then? That's what I don't understand. And I probably would not have brought this up today because I feel like this puts an end to the story. One, if Michigan hadn't appealed, I definitely wouldn't have brought it up. But two, the absolute arrogance and ridiculousness in our comments section this weekend with Michigan fans defending Michigan, defending Jim Harbaugh, defending Connor Stallions, saying that there was no criminality here. You are out of your mind. The Jim Harbaugh thing, I will just never understand it. He took you for a ride. He absolutely took you lock, stock, and barrel. Took a ton of your money. He's now cost you probably $50 million more dollars. You are not recognized as a national champion because nobody believes that to be the case. Everybody knows you cheated to get there. And you still want to call this guy a hero. And you still want to say more and more people now over the weekend, the best coach Michigan's ever had. You're out of your mind if you believe. This goes back to J.J. McCarthy being the best quarterback in the history of Michigan football. There's zero data to back that up. Zero data to say that Jim Harbaugh is the best coach in the history of Michigan football. Zero. And yet, here you are, defending Ward Manuel, saying Ward Manuel over the weekend said, it's never our intent to be in a position where we are accused of any rules violations. Are you out of your mind?
Well, my gosh, if we're just measuring intent, then Ward Manuel must be a saint. I mean, it's not what you did, Ward. It's just what you meant to do, apparently. Is that the new standard? Is that the new standard, Ward? Oh, I didn't mean to run the light, but I did. So I shouldn't get a ticket. What's the big deal, guys?
This is the front page of the Detroit Free Press you are looking at, with a caption directly quoting NCAA findings that say Jim Harbaugh ran a program that was largely dismissive of rules compliance. There was little, if any, emphasis on following the rules, to which Ward Manuel says, it's never our intent to be in a position where we are accused of any rules violations. And yet, here Michigan fan is, and we haven't even looked at the comment section yet today. Here's Michigan fan going full red ass. Oh, Monty, Jim Harbaugh's a good man. The best coach we've ever had at Michigan. Explain to me, based on this statement right here. So is Ward Manuel just trolling you idiots? Is that what this is? When he says, I fully support Sharon Moore, our student athletes and the staff as they prepare for the season ahead. Sharon Moore is now inarguably a multi-time NCAA level 1 violator.
Cheating, lying, and then playing the victim.
A repeat offender. We never want to be in a position to break rules. Well, you just hired a multi-time offender who offended under the great Michigan. And you want to sit here, oh, we'd never. Yeah, you would. Apparently you would, because you did. And the NCAA said you did.
Yeah, and you don't want to be accountable. And listen, I think that it is the best example of late of committing the crime and then asking for forgiveness, right? Like, break the rule, do all the dirty stuff, do whatever you have to, and ask for forgiveness. And the problem is I wouldn't even have an issue with this story if Michigan was handling it the right way, and specifically Michigan fan, because I'm not going to trust Ward Manuel to do anything right. He's not that guy, pal. And if Michigan fan was just like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we did cheat. We it's not that we stole signs, but we advanced scouted, and that's really the issue here. And then we tried to cover it up, something terrible. And we got caught on other people's sidelines, advanced scouting. There's a price to pay for that. And again, I just want to point this out. Again, for Michigan fan who says nothing happened here, we're innocent, we didn't do anything wrong, everybody steals signs, because that's the general narrative I've seen over the weekend. Oh, everyone steals signs, we've done nothing wrong, we're innocent. Then why are you celebrating the celebration? Or the penalty?
And the thing
Why
that I
are
would
you-
say, Jake, even more than that. No, even more than that. Just sit here, right? Just sit here. Give us all a reach around, right? Give us all a reach around by saying we cheated, we won, and you're not doing anything about it for the rest of time. Michigan's the 2023 national champion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. If that's what you want to be, okay, I'm here for it. But please don't sit here and tell me Ward Manuel, the athletic director of the year, and Jim Harbaugh, the best coach ever, and J.J. McCarthy, the best quarterback ever.
You.
Yeah.
Fuck
Get
you.
out of
You
here.
suck.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, it is so outrageous to me.
I mean, it's almost like this. Like you're the guy in the room that, like, if you're a Michigan fan doing this stuff, like you're the guy in the room that just like thinks you're above everybody. You just think we're all idiots and have no idea what the hell we're talking about and what we're looking at, and like you just think that we just made all this up and you didn't do anything wrong and you're just completely innocent. And I don't know how you in good conscience feel that way.
They're
victims. We didn't do anything to you guys. You're doing it all to us. We were the 23 national champions, right? Like, we're the greatest. Screw Ohio State, right? Like, I mean, that's the sentiment that I get worn out on. I can dismantle Michigan fans all day long, between fact and fiction and their petty ass arguments about what happened and didn't happen. But I just get so tired of Michigan fan being like, we didn't do anything. This is ridiculous. We're going to appeal. And honestly, like, who's going to be surprised when the appeal never reaches a courtroom and they never do anything with it? Because that's exactly what they've done before, is it not?
Yeah.
You went to court and you did absolutely nothing about it. And you pulled out 2 minutes before your hearing because you knew you didn't have evidence. So I just sit here and I say, look, man, if you want to take that route again, that's fine. You guys want to keep paying people, that's fine. But one way or the other, you're scratching a check for your indiscretions under Jim Harbaugh's time. And you can be in denial about that or whatever. But I'm just telling you, man, at some point, Ward Manuel and the rest of those dudes need to be out of Michigan athletics, because, again, the overreaching point that I think gets lost in all of this is if you take Jim Harbaugh and this whole debacle out of the history books at Michigan athletics is one of the most celebrated athletic departments in the country, dude. Like, there's a prestige about Michigan athletics, except when it comes to the football program now, because you have a bunch of cheaters and liars and dudes who don't want to follow any of the rules. To which I say, that's the biggest shame in the whole situation.
Yeah, I'm amazed by it. And I will never understand. I will never understand this concept of defending Jim Harbaugh. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I just sit here and I say to myself, Michigan fan, at least help me understand what you're defending. Because I truly don't understand it.
Like, why? Like, what? Why are you not saying, yeah, you know what? Like, yeah, we weren't winning, and Jim needed to find a way to shake it up, rock the boat, change the, stem the tide, if you will. And he found a guy in Connor Stallions who was really good at what he did. And yeah, Jim didn't give a damn about the rules, but my God, he found a solution to gain an advantage, and we went on to win a national championship because of it. So
yeah, I wish Michigan fans would just own it. I mean, it is, and the issue to me is that you're forever ruined now. And you continuing to pine after Jim Harbaugh and wishing he was still your head coach, all you're doing is a disservice to the future of this institution. All you're doing by supporting Ward Manuel is a massive disservice to the future of Michigan football, because Ward Manuel is quite literally an embarrassment to that university. He is everything that's wrong with ethics and compliance. And of course, he's a lying scumbag because that's what Michigan football is. But it's never our intent to be in a position where we are accused of rules violations. Why did the NCAA find that everybody involved in the Connor Stallions investigation attempted to deceive them and showed a lack of cooperation? Because your intent is to be in a position where you're accused of rules violations. Because if it was never your intent to be accused, you would have cooperated fully. Yet at every turn, the NCAA says you did not. At every turn, the NCAA says that Jim Harbaugh ran a program that was largely dismissive of rule compliance. And yet you guys still say, as Michigan fans, Jim Harbaugh is the best coach we've ever had. J.J. McCarthy's the best quarterback we ever had. Never mind that he's barely capable of operating in the NFL in preseason, but he's the best quarterback we've ever had at Michigan. And Ward Manuel, athletic director of the year. Anybody who supports Ward Manuel as the athletic director at Michigan, you are fully complicit. And what a scumbag university Michigan is. And if you support Ward Manuel, you are absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
You're an embarrassment. You are a blight. If you support Ward Manuel, you are not a fan of the University of Michigan. You are a prideful, short-sighted person who lacks integrity. There is no way to support Ward Manuel. There just is no argument for it. I mean, you literally are a program that has been called out in every corner as lacking scruples, morals, ethics, no compliance, no desire to follow rules. And Ward Manuel then comes out and says, oh, we never want to be in a position to break a rule. Right. Sure you are, Ward. Sure. Like it's ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
It is.
And then goes on to say that they don't deserve a postseason ban. That this case shouldn't have warranted a postseason ban, which to me is, again, I'm not expecting Ward Manuel to come out here and give you the actual truth because, frankly, that's not part of the brand of Ward Manuel at this point. But, there has to be, lying is one thing when you're basically playing politics in college football. Lying's one thing, and then just a complete like disregard for what the reality of the situation is a totally different thing. And sometimes I wonder if Ward Manuel and company just choose to not live in reality. It's incredible to me that you would ever comment at all in any way, shape, or form on whether a postseason ban was warranted. The fact that Ward Manuel is even commenting at this stage is incredible to me. You shouldn't be commenting until the process is over.
Yeah,
honestly,
I don't know if you're. I guess it's win at all cost and then lie about it when you get caught. I mean, I know that's what we do in this country, but if you are a Michigan fan and you are not doing everything you can, if you are not doing everything you can do to get Ward Manuel out, I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at. I honest to God, I don't know what you're looking at because I just don't understand it.
Well, when do ethics start to matter? I mean, at what point, if you're all right, this came out Friday, Michigan fan talk their junk all weekend. I'm sure they're in the comments section. All right, cool. You've had your day, right? You wanted to come in here and say, oh, yep, we saved our natty. They didn't rip our natty, even though that was never going to happen. But that's what everyone was celebrating. Okay, you've had your day. At what point do ethics and morals and doing the right thing at some point start to matter? And that's what concerns me, not just for Michigan, right? Michigan's just a case study on this. But when you look at college football overall, there's so many, examples of not following rules and, cheating to gain an advantage, whether that's in recruiting stuff, NIL stuff, whatever it might be. I mean, At what point, culturally speaking, do people start to say, yeah, you know what? If we're going to do it the wrong way, it's just not worth doing, right? I mean, we're not winning it on the up and up. And that, to me, I think is where I hope the conversation goes at some point.
Yeah, and as a fan of Notre Dame, I can straight up tell you there is not a chance in the world we have run a clean program from eternity to now. I don't have some unbelievable belief that and I'm not going to say every team, but most programs don't live by the rule of law. I totally get that. But the idea that you had no compliance and then you stood up there and played the victim card and said it was like you went full Trump and said it was a witch hunt, and it's just so ridiculous. At what point? And then I'm going to get into the comment section, which I'm sure is just amazing. At what point do you stand up and say, yeah, the evidence is pretty overwhelming? The evidence is fairly substantial that this actually happened. And the NCAA called out Jim Harbaugh by name. And I would remind you, last Thursday, I said, I think 10 times Jim Harbaugh was going to get a 10-year show cause notice. And what did he get? Got a 10-year show cause notice. And I told you he and Connor Stallions will never work in college football again. And the great tragedy is, an Ohio State fan, bless you, and I'm sorry if it pisses you off, Connor Stallions is excellent at his job. And I think Connor Stallions, more than anybody here, is a victim of circumstance. Because if anybody had said no, if anybody, when Central Michigan called and said, hey, Connor, why don't you come over here and help us? If anybody had said no, and if Jim McElwain, who worked for Jim Harbaugh, hadn't fallen into the same trap, and that staff at Central Michigan hadn't fallen into the same trap, if anybody had said, no, this is the wrong thing to be doing, it's an NCAA violation, Connor Stallions is probably still employed today. But instead, all of you Michigan scumbags were like, oh, yeah, we'll never get caught. We're Michigan. What are they going to do? Well, they essentially drove you into the ground. Jim Harbaugh drove the ethics, reputation, and forever humiliated. You will never get over this. Your championship is gone. It is illegitimate. Nobody recognizes what those scumbags did as anything other than cheating. And it's unfortunate because I have no problem saying, because I don't have a dog in the fight, I have no problem saying you probably had the best roster in college football that year. Right? But nobody knows that now, because all we know is that you guys cheated all year to win games. Right? You look at J.J. McCarthy, pretty shitty quarterback for the Vikings right now. Pretty shitty quarterback in Michigan.
Who knew?
Not the best quarterback in the history of the University of Michigan, but you are so unable to put your pride aside and say, yeah, we did it the wrong way. Because you did it the wrong way. You won a championship the complete wrong way, to the point now where the NCAA and anybody with two eyes and a brain recognizes and has now formalized for the history books that you cheated and your championship is erroneous. It means nothing. And I hope you're happy, because all you've done on this show for 2 years is come in here and insulted people, called them names, said it is Ryan Day's brother. It is like, do you think Matt Weiss was an accident? Do you think all of the stuff related to cheeseburgers for hungry kids, Sharon Moore, Jim Harbaugh, the sign stealing stuff, this is a way of life at Michigan. This is how you do business. This is not a one-off. This is not even just Jim Harbaugh was a pirate who came in here and pillaged. This is systematic, from Santa Ono being a complete shitbag who repressed people's First Amendment rights on his campus, so much to the point where he can't get a job at lowly Florida. He can't. Michigan, Florida. Florida won't hire him, but Michigan was happy to have him. Let it sink in. That's who you are. Congratulations. Like, it is remarkable to me.
Yeah.
Remarkable. And now I trepidatiously go into the comment section because it's probably not a good thing. It is probably not a good thing. Let's see. And today, I think for the most part, we're probably only going to read member comments because on days like this, usually it does not go well. What a hammer, Monty. Buckeye tears have been delicious all weekend. And this is the comment that perpetuates what a bunch of scumbag losers you guys are.
Yep.
Because anybody who thinks that Michigan got a slap on the wrist has no idea how college football works. And that generally, Eric, is how you operate. Because you say stuff that you can never back up. $50 million, and hell, I'll even go with what we know. $35 million is crippling to athletic departments. Because you don't have, and I'll go back to and please go read the comment section over the weekend. It is fodder like you have never seen before. Do you understand that Michigan put out a call? And how do I know this happened? Talking to a Michigan booster over the weekend in person at an event that I didn't even know this person was a booster. Telling me, oh yeah, we're getting fundraising emails on a weekly, if not daily basis now. From the academic side, where the University of Michigan is saying we are on a shoestring budget. If you love and support, he showed me one of the emails talking about if you love and support the University of Michigan, the time to act is now. That's how tight the money at Michigan is. And again, it's not their fault. We're seeing this repeated across the country. USC, Washington has dealt with this. Washington State has dealt with this. This is not a Michigan issue. The way that the government now has eliminated the Department of Education, the funding is different. Michigan and many other universities are dealing with this to the point where they've eliminated mass amounts of curriculums. But if you want to sit here as a Michigan fan and believe that $35 million and what is likely going to be $50 million and now legal fees on top of that, oh, it's nothing. You have your head in the sand. You have your head in the sand. Let the countdown to college football start. Less than a week to go.
Seriously.
Less than a week to go. I was right about 10-year show cause penalty. Yeah, I'm sure you were. He will never coach in college football again. Don't remember you ever saying that, but okay. What exactly did Michigan violate? No postseason ban is a failure by the NCAA. Well, we all know what they violated because in the
What do you mean, dude?
Like this is what I don't understand.
Like, what do you
know
mean?
What
did they violate?
Jim Harbaugh violated every tenet of compliance that there is to violate. It's not even a conversation. It is not even a conversation. It is, I mean, I don't even know how to describe to you how embarrassing it is for any academic person of any level to be associated with a football program with zero ethics at a university that prides itself in being an institution of law, an institution of rules and order. And yet here we are with Jim Harbaugh being called out directly. There was little, if any, emphasis on following the rules, the NCAA said. What do you mean? What have we lost? That's wild to me. Even if you make the playoffs, EW, now all the revenue goes to thee and your fellow Big Ten teams. Yeah, you're Michigan should be solid this year, I would think. Who knows what Bryce is going to be, and I think Sharon Moore has an awful lot on his plate. The compliance stuff that he is going to have to do. And I think this is, I don't know how many people understand this. Do you understand the compliance, like written, like you essentially are going to have to log and report every action you take for the next, I think it's 8 years. He's going to have to prove with every phone call, with every text message, with every email, with every DM on social media, with every trip he takes off campus, with every trip that's made on campus, he is going to have to double and triple his compliance notifications on that stuff now. Do you understand just how much? And he can't farm it out. He can't have an intern, can't have a secretary. Sharon Moore now is the head coach of a program that is on probation. Do you understand the sheer volume of reporting that goes with that? It's why most coaches, whether they are the violator or not, most coaches at programs that go on probation wind up leaving because the paperwork drowns you. It is just a massive amount of clerical that he himself has to do.
Which he earned. You earned that.
It's wild. It is absolutely wild. Phil Venzer, Michigan is appealing the penalty so they can still buy cheeseburgers because, Jim Harbaugh bought all those cheeseburgers for hungry kids.
Yeah, right.
That's what it is.
Hell of a story there, Jimmy. I mean, man, what a characterization of such a great guy that, man, he just rolled into the parlor one day and saw some kids starving outside of the window and, just decided to buy him some cheeseburgers. I mean, man, what an incredible guy. Wow. Goodness.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Eric, whoa. Eric, Eric Wasikowski just got filtered. So you said something that somebody didn't like. I would love to have read that, but what did you say? I mean, I guess I can go look that up. I'm probably no, I'm not going to. Okay, I will. Just so we know. What did Eric say to get him? Go over
This
here.
ought to be good. This ought to be really good, dude.
Go back down over here. Dude, YouTube makes it so difficult to find your Oh, come on, bro. Are you kidding me? Okay. Yeah, I don't see you guys take it too far. When you start talking about, I would be very careful with the words that you guys say. Let's see. Michigan draws 100,000 fans a game and are crying poverty. But the issue, how do I explain this to you guys? You're a UNLV fan and you don't know this. People love to make hay about game day revenue. Game day revenue is great when you are a program that hasn't been paying. Like, do you understand that the athletic department in Michigan has to repay the university a debt for defending them here? You understand the university hires, like when Harbaugh got suspended 2 years ago, and he is essentially appealing everything, and they're going to court, and the university pays that. But do you understand that they bill the athletic department, who bills the football program for that? It's not like the University of Michigan just cuts a check to the law firm. Like in the Pac-12, I think Pac-12 fans don't understand this as well. When you are paying lawyers on behalf of a football team, the university bills the athletic department, who bills the football team, who then has to charge that back in the form of the athletic department gets less money from the university. So you're digging out of a hole. And this is what I think a lot of people, I think Paul Feinbaum talked about this. Michigan has been digging out of a financial hole because they've been defending themselves on this for years now.
How long, bro?
Well, this is years long that they have been defending this, paying lawyers, paying consultants, paying people to defend them. So I think eventually Michigan's fine, but we have no idea how the University of Michigan is going to deal with this funding shortfall that pretty much every university is dealing with now. Like, I just think I would think a little bit more. I would think a little bit deeper before we start talking about, Roche, it's finally here. Week 1. No, week 1 is next week. Get it right.
No, I think he's put week -1. Is that what that's supposed to be?
Is that okay, my bad.
Is it supposed to be week -1?
I'm gonna yeah, I'm not the smartest guy, Charlotte 49er John says Walmart Wolverines. That's the saddest thing here is you have a great university. Michigan, for everything that Santaono's tenure brought, and it was not good. That's a fine university. That is, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want, you could do a lot worse in Michigan, right? And I just think their reputation from top to bottom in Ann Arbor has been destroyed.
Which you just never had to happen, bro.
And you largely did it so that Jim Harbaugh could be your head coach.
And then leave for the NFL.
And he left you high and dry. And he will serve no penalty. You are serving the penalty. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. It is just, I'll never understand Michigan fans defending him. I never will. The stadium guy, James, I have to agree with Big Blue Horses. If anyone can raise money, it's the U of M. All right, but if the U of M raises money, where is it going? And again, we're going to get into this Big Ten 2018 playoff thing. And if Michigan raises money from alumni, do you think that money is going to the football department right now? Dude, they're trying to figure out how to pay professors. They're trying to figure out how not to cut curriculums, like entire degree programs. Did you guys see that Stanford cut 3 entire degree programs? Just not going to be offered anymore after next year. That's where we are in this country with funding. If you are fundraising, do you think Michigan's going to take the $35 million and just hand that back to the football department? Do you really think that's what's happening? That's not happening. That's not happening. And frankly, the worst part of this for Sharon Moore probably is Sharon's having a really good run here recruiting. And I'm just very interested to see what he's able to do this year as a coach, because I think it is going to be very interesting to see how all that plays out. And
how long does the appeal process take? What ends up being, what is the actual real world penalty that they do pay? Because obviously they're appealing it like that, we'll see. We'll see.
And I go to this Big Ten thing because, and I understand we talk a lot of Big Ten football on the show. We talk a lot of SEC football on the show, but I go to this conference as a whole right now, and I think this is a massive test of Tony Petitti's leadership. You look at how many scandals this conference has had, whether it is Epstein Island over there in Happy Ending Valley, whether it is the Michigan State stuff, whether it is the Ohio State stuff. You just look at the history of scandals in this conference. How many of them have cost you a national championship and the money and revenue associated with that national championship? Never has it ever happened where you essentially just gave back money because they cheated to win. And the NCAA straight up said, we're not going to give you a postseason ban, but we're going to take all that money back. That is, I cannot recall since USC, which is when the policy was changed, I cannot recall them ever doing something this dramatic, this drastic. I can't recall it. I can't comprehend. And I don't know that Michigan fan fully embraces it. Clearly, you look at the comments section all weekend long. Michigan fan apparently doesn't give a rat's ass about $35 to $50 million. They think that's walking around money. I'm telling you, it's not.
The arrogance is pretty incredible sight to see. I don't know how. mean, even if you did have the money, and even if you were like that, which you're not, but even if you were, that's still a lot of money on premise alone. Like,
Yeah.
like we're sitting here talking about, over the last several months, like the house settlement and what that's doing for rev sharing and like, all these different things. Like, it's shocking that Michigan fan just sits here and is like, yeah, no big deal. No big deal. We're just gonna keep
Yeah.
cutting checks and it's not a problem. And screw you guys and like that. I'm just surprised by it, honestly. I don't know. I don't know why you guys choose to go about it that way instead of just saying like, yeah, kind of a heavy price to pay to win one championship. Like, if it
One.
turns out to be 50 million, like, come on, dude.
I think it's really interesting, and this Michigan booster's wife made a really good point. It's not like and she was saying it's not like we're a generational program because Michigan hadn't been good leading up to this Connor Stallions scandal. And I think this year is critically important. I think Sharon Moore has to win right now because I do think we've seen repeatedly at many universities when the academics get pissed off, the football coach gets fired. When you start looking at how embarrassing this is, I'm shocked that Ward Manuel has kept his job. I mean, I am really surprised by it. But I think you're starting to see now more than any time in the history of college sports, what happens, good and bad, dramatically now impacts your faculty and staff. Like faculty and staff quitting, wanting to go there, kids wanting to go there, dollars wanting to go there. And it's scandals like this. And I think we saw it to a lesser extent at Pet OU when the Joe Paterno Epstein did his thing. And you look at how much actual damage was done to that piece of crap university, and you understand that most of it was done because those losers in Happy Ending Valley covered up child sex crimes for decades. Justified. One of the questions I have is, how much is too much? Because while I agree, you would have been justified in a postseason ban, the damage that you're doing to Michigan is going to have lasting impacts on the Big Ten if they don't win right now this year. If they do not go to the college football playoff this year, I think it's going to be very hard to justify the fruits of that scandal.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that you'll be able to do it because it is just so different when you lose and you have a scandal causing you to lose. How has Sharon Moore been able to focus on preparing this football team? That's a real question. And you look at the best teams in the country, and Texas is still the best team in the country. I don't know what USA Today is smoking or what kind of acid they drop before they release their little thing that has, I think Ohio State was 8th. I think Ohio State's the second best team, the third best team. I think LSU is the second best team. You look at how deep the top 5 teams in college football are, because I think 6 through 25 there's not a whole lot of separation there.
No.
The top 5 teams in the country right now, and I don't almost care what order you want to put them in.
Mm-hmm.
The top 5 teams in the country right now, I think it's Texas, LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, and Georgia. Because I don't think, my opinion is Epstein, I think they have to prove it. They have to prove that Drew Aller's something other than a guy who can't hold his piss during a big game. And until
I agree with that 100%.
Until they and he do that, until they win big games in the conference, I don't think we'll know. But I look at this and I say to myself, Alabama's going to be significantly better because the rave reviews that are in on Ty Simpson and maybe they're just way over the top. But Notre Dame doesn't have a quarterback. Oregon, it does not sound great. Alabama, LSU, I think Miami's going to be – Miami has talent like I don't know that they've had it at any point. But I look at Texas, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Bama, LSU, and Miami, and I think they are exponentially better than Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And if Michigan can't win that Texas game. And heavens to Betsy, if they get blown out in that game, now I think you're looking at a very, very different season. If Michigan does not compete rep in and rep out in that football game, you are looking at a very, very difficult year for Sharon Moore. And I know it's one game and it's the beginning of the season, and I'm not trying to make too much out of it. But with the financial difficulties that university is facing, on top of this $35 to $50 million penalty, bro, give me a 10-year show cause order. Don't take my $35 to $50 million. Not in 2025.
Yeah, you need that money, dude.
Yeah.
You need that money.
With this, the funny thing is I went to a baby shower and I was surrounded by educators. It was crazy. Some of the conversations I were having. Universities at every level are struggling financially. And the best part is like reading the fundraising emails, like when it's in black and white in front of you, it's shocking when you're reading an email from Michigan Fundraising that says, if you love this university, now's the time to show it. Like, that's a pretty bold statement in an email. And I'm curious to see how that plays out. I'm very curious to see how all that plays out.
And by the way, if you're papered up, if you got all this money, why are you sending emails? Like, if it's no big deal, again, I'm just telling you, there's all this propaganda out there. There's all this facade out there about, oh, hey, this is what we want it to look like, but here's what it actually is, as usual. So again, you guys can sit here and be arrogant about it and say that, oh man, we're the best and we got all this money. The reality is you don't have all this money. Like, yeah, you have more money than a G5 does, but that's not really saying much. Like, you don't have $50 million tabbed out in your athletic fund. And by the way, you don't have $50 million tabbed out in the university's overall fund, dude. Like, don't act like you do, because you don't. And we all know you don't. Like, come on, dude.
It'll be interesting to see what plays. I mean, I feel bad for Michigan alumni because I don't think the vast majority of Michigan alumni are the idiots that Michigan football fans are. I just am amazed at how that is played.
By the way, this conversation about Penn State and where they should be. Do you want to know why at the end of the day Penn State's not a top 5 football team? Oh, that's right, because Baldy is 1-18 against top 5 opponents, if memory serves. He's not a big game coach. So don't sit here and try to tell me that this dude is going to be out here beating Ohio State regularly or beating whoever, Texas, or, whoever you want to point to. That's not who he is, man. The guy wants an easy ass schedule in the Big Ten. And then he wants to go to the college football playoff and play Boise State and Indiana and then get his ass beat by Notre Dame without a quarterback. Like, stop it with all this Drew Aller's a top 5 pick nonsense. Drew Aller is going to be lucky to be a second round pick if it keeps going the way it is, because he hasn't shown any type of arm talent or leadership. Well, the guy does not perform.
He's actually got, they're not top 5. I mean, if we start looking at defenses, if I start looking at just in the top 25, Alabama's probably the best defense in the country. Alabama or Texas. Clemson is going to be really, really good. I think Notre Dame is probably going to be a top 5 defense at the end of the year. Georgia, how could I forget Georgia? I think A&M, Ohio State's going to have, how do you look at Caleb Downs? That defense is going to be really good. But the sad thing is Penn State should have a top 8 defense. And you're talking about losing Abdul Carter, and you're still going to have a defense. I think the biggest question, it's what it comes down to every year in this conference. We talk about this every year with the Big Ten. Which quarterback's going to make a play to put their team over the top? And my friend at Epstein U has never shown the ability to do that. And thankfully, as a Notre Dame fan, I see that firsthand in the playoff.
Why should I be worried about a defense being national championship good who could not stop a quarterback-less team in the college football playoff? Why should I be worried? Like, you guys can throw out names and you can say that, oh, great defenses, and man, Penn State's always got a great defense. And how about that home field advantage? Home field advantage doesn't mean anything to the top teams. Texas doesn't care where you want to play the football game, right? Like, the best teams that have the most talent can go into any building at any time and beat anybody. And the problem is Drew Aller's not going to answer the bell when Arch Manning goes down the field, dude.
Zane Durant's going to cover up a lot of they're going to have to run the football a lot, and you've got two experienced backs, obviously, but Zane Durant will cover a lot of that. I mean, obviously, Danny Dennis Sutton is a hell of a football player, but you can't cover up a quarterback who can't read zone, and a very basic zone, because the interception he threw against us was not disguised at all. It was a horrendous pass. And when you start looking at their schedule, excuse me, you start looking at Cock on Thigh's schedule, and you start seeing that it's Oregon on. I'll never intentionally say their name. I mean, I think Penn State, honest to goodness, we should have gone the Donnie route and just decimated their land and never let them play football again. Anyway, Oregon on September 27th. Obviously, we're going to get a real good look at that. That's going to probably be a whiteout game. It's on the Cock. I think that's a huge game. I think at Penn State, if you can't go to Ohio State and win, I don't want to hear two words about it.
But what does it take? And this is what Penn State lover and knee patter doesn't want to talk about. What does it take to win on the road? It doesn't take, great defense helps a lot, and you need it. You need to defend. You need the defense to get you a couple turnovers. But what do you got to go and do with those turnovers? Oh, that's right. You have to be able to pass the football, because the best teams are not going to allow you to run the football for more than probably 90 yards in any given game. They're not allowing you to do that.
No, and I think if you're a Epstein Island fan and you start to understand, your road situation, if you go back to like last year, because I don't think their shitty quarterback was anything until last year, right? So Mr. Average, you look at the way he played games on the road last year, 216 at West Virginia. Like, is that first round pick, top of the draft? Not when it's 216 yards.